Alright, this video is going to be an introduction to evolution, but what I'm really going to focus on are the things that were influencing Darwin when he was thinking about evolution. Something you should know, most Europeans in Darwin's time thought the Earth and all life forms on Earth had been created only a few thousand years ago. And so one of the big things that Darwin's theory of evolution due to natural selection is based on is this idea that the Earth has been around longer than a couple thousand years. So several discoveries were made before Darwin took his voyage, and these things influenced him highly when he was around seeing things, which we'll talk about later. A couple new discoveries. There was an emerging fossil record. So we're looking at organisms or remains of organisms that are preserved, and we're seeing organisms that we've never seen before. So saying, oh, these things have lived at some time in the past, and they don't exist anymore today. Also, several geologists, I think Charles Lyell, I believe that's how you spell his name, Charles Lyell, was studying the Earth and sort of decided that the processes that shape the Earth today are natural processes, and they take a certain period of time to occur. For example, all of the layers in these rock features were deposited in a certain amount of time. And he was saying that these forces have existed in the exact same way and occur on the exact same time scale throughout Earth's history. And so if that's the case, then the Earth is actually really significantly older than most people at the time thought it would be. And this is really a big point here, even though it's sort of a geology thing, and you don't usually think that geology and evolution would mix, but it's really a big point because this big point about time being an issue. Evolution can occur to the amount that we're saying on the couple thousand years time scale, but now we're talking billions of years. That's a lot of time to be thinking about, and change over that period of time is more likely for sure. Then there was this person named Lamarck. He published his theory on inheritance of acquired traits. So most people think that Darwin was the first person to say, oh, we inherit traits and these traits change us over time. Charles Darwin was not the first person to do that. Lamarck was. Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, he said organisms change over time. And on this, he and Darwin agreed. However, the process by which they change over time, they did not agree on. Lamarck said that organisms either selectively use or disuse certain parts of their bodies, and therefore that allows traits to be acquired or lost if they don't use things over a period of time. And this acquiring or loss of traits then gets passed to offspring and then can relate to a new species. This is incorrect, obviously. This would be, first of all, like saying, oh, this crab, it uses its left claw a lot, therefore its left claw gets bigger, and so the ones that don't use their left claw change into different species than the ones that do use their left claw. This would be like saying, well, I have pierced ears. That means since I acquired that trait through my lifetime and I use earrings every day, that means that when I have a baby, their ears are automatically going to be pierced when the baby is born. That seems ridiculous. So the process by which he said organisms change over time was definitely incorrect, and he and Darwin did not agree on that. But this idea of organisms changing over time was not the first, Darwin was not the first person to say something like that. Then there was this last person, Malthus. He watched human population growth and basically said that in all populations, they have a tendency to grow to have a higher actual amount of organisms than the environment can sustain. And so at some point, there will be a crisis for resources, and therefore this struggle to survive. And this struggle to survive ends up leading to some amount of the population dying. And all of these things really influenced Darwin, and it's possible that if it hadn't been for these ideas already being out there and Darwin thinking about these things as he observed stuff on his voyage, he might not have thought of his theory of evolution.